Hello, it's my pleasure to be here, and I'll be talking about AI and especially innovation at Datadog in the era of AI. It's a topic that I love talking about. I'm a startup founder. I started 2 AI companies. The first one was sold to Verizon, and the second one to Datadog this year, hence I'm here. And I love to talk about startup founding stories. So here, it's not me, it's Ollie and Alexi, our co-founders. It was back in 2010 when they were working at the same company. It was before they started Datadog. They were in 2 different groups, and they were experiencing, so one was on the developer group and the other one on the ops group, and they were experiencing when you have an incident and everyone is working hard trying to resolve it, how hard it is to agree on the data, on the sheer facts, on what's happening. And they saw that complexity as a key aspect of what makes the friction of solving hard problems at companies. And this complexity only grew over time. You can see with all those graphs like how the complexity gets even more intense with more software, so software pieces working together, more deployments. Like we used to not talk about CI/CD. Now people are deploying all the time. There's more stakeholders working in the same environment. It's not just like one developer working in isolation. It's the entire group that's working towards the same problem. It's also more computing units, and you add to the mix AI, which is tomorrow we're going to talk about autonomous agents that are making decisions all the time. So this complexity compounds and evolves over time in something that should be kind of out of reach, and that's why Datadog was created, to solve that complexity, bringing everyone together with a single platform. And 1,000+ integrations after this moment on a coach back in 2010, this is what Datadog looks like. Full range of products, stories, solving complexity on different interfaces in different areas, but also bringing all of them together. So you'll see here the 3 pillars that Vanessa was telling you about: infrastructure monitoring, APM, application monitoring, and logs. You'll probably see some names that you may not be familiar with. Maybe you didn't know about our security solution, you didn't know about our service management solution. How can we innovate across that broad of a range? Well, at some point, the answer is kind of simple. It comes down to dollars. Datadog is investing more than 29% of every dollar, of every revenue dollar, back into R&D. So you see how the numbers grow up to 750 million. That's more than double what our peers spend. Like it's more than double in percentage spend, and also even more in absolute spend. So we are just putting more and more into new products. And this is what it looks like from the timeline of the number of new products we're releasing. So back in 2010, we had 1 product. A couple of years after, we adding like 1 per year, maybe not every year. Then we started adding a couple every year, and then like a big couple. And then in 2025, it doesn't even fit the chart. So you see what acceleration looks like. So where does it bring us? Well, it brings us to this number that I love. 360+ new products and features released just this year. The year is not finished, so we're talking about more than 1 feature and 1 product announcement per day. So rest assured, I won't go through every single one of them. It's really to give you like a sense of the feel of the pace of innovation that we're experimenting at Datadog and that we're bringing to you. But let's take a couple examples. First, let's look at what we're doing on the observability front. So observability is really our DNA. Datadog was first started as an observability platform. We have mature product on observability, but we also keep releasing new ones. And interestingly, observability starts before data hits Datadog. So in this case, we release observability pipelines, which is what do you do with your logs pipelines before they're ingested into Datadog. There's plenty of things that typically happen before. For instance, you may want to enrich them with information that's available locally, or you may want to redact them for security or compliance reasons. You may want to delete some because the volume's too big. All of those actions might only be undertaken on-prem. You cannot do that after the fact. So all of this requires a lot of complexity that's happening ahead of Datadog. Now we're bringing Vector, which is an open source repo that we've built, into Datadog. So you can control it. You can control it from the Datadog app and control Vector and set up all of those pipelines of everything that's happening before Datadog. One thing that you may want to do is dual shipping. For example, you may be shipping some logs to Splunk, or you may be sending some to cold storage. But as soon as you start dual shipping, complexity also increases back, because then now you have logs in different places, which brings me to another feature announcement that we're making, which is Flex Frozen. It's our own cold storage solution that enables you to store logs for more than 7 years. So now you can decide what you're going to keep in hot storage or in cold storage in Datadog in the same platform. Of course, some logs are really valuable in the moment, but some needs to be stored for years. Maybe security logs, audit logs. You may have plenty of reasons, sometimes regulatory reasons to keep those logs for a long time. This can all be managed now directly from the Datadog product. So storing is fine. But sometimes you want to do with those things you stored. For example, you may want to search them. Well, I don't know how many of you have played with rehydration of logs. It can be hard, to know what piece of log you want to rehydrate to find that particular log event that you're looking after. Well, we're bringing also, alongside Flex Frozen, archive search. With archive search, you can search frozen logs just the same way you search live logs. It's the same interface, same query experience, and you're going to get the log from the past second alongside the log from the past 7 years with the unified interface. Just so you know, it's not just for our own cold storage solution. It also works with other cold storage solutions. So it's really the 60-log searching experience is universal, and it deals with rehydration for you. So now you can search for logs, recent and old. But of course, sometimes you want to do more than just find one log. For example, you want to do full-blown analysis on those logs. You want to connect to external databases, you want to look at trends, maybe you want to build together some visualization. This is the purpose of this new solution, which is Log Workspaces. It enables you to build complicated and involved analytics based on your logs using SQL, which is the language that data analysts use the most for data analysis. Well, I think all of you kind of had to deal with SQL at some point in your life. But still, some people are not very familiar with SQL. Happy to say this also works with natural language. So you can also write those workspaces in English or in German, and it will impact how you create those analyses. This can then be packaged into the notebooks experience. I don't know if you're familiar with Datadog notebooks. It's a way to put the analysis in different places, in different surfaces in Datadog. For example, you can have it in postmortems, you can have it in dashboards. So all of that becomes available with now Log Workspaces. There's one type of analysis that our customers love to do, and I'm sure you've done some version of it in the past, which is to look at cost. Because all of this complexity also turns into cost. The complexity from multiple vendors, complexity for multiple interaction, complicated business models. Now we're bringing all this information back into a single product, which is Cloud Cost Management, that gives you full visibility on the cost of your clouds. This is really the same spirit that Olivier and Alexi had back in 2010 when they wanted to get people back together with data. But now we're talking about bringing the FinOps teams, the finance team, the engineering team in the same place with the unique representation of the costs, with forecasts, with budgets, with anomaly detection directly into Datadog. So that was about observing what's happening. The point of observing systems is, of course, to make sure they're secure and robust. Put them on the same level. Datadog is the same engineering team that's responsible for security and SRE. And this is a philosophy that we've applied to the products we build. And now, whenever we're thinking of secure system, we're thinking about the two sides of the same coin. I want to tell you about this product that we've been releasing in the past few years, which is Cloud SIEM, or Security Incident and Event Management Solution. This is where you can bring all of your information security logs under one roof. Well, the point here is not just to have all the security logs in one place. It's also to have the expertise that has been built over the years by the world-class team of security experts at Datadog to build rules and scoring mechanism to detect patterns in those logs. So all of those are natively available in the Cloud SIEM solution. And now you can benefit from the same level of security that we have at Datadog and with which we protect our data, which is your data. So that's now natively available to all of your logs. I think the most important part of this presentation is actions. So far we've been looking and making sure things were okay, but sometimes you do want to take action. And this is what makes a difference in the real world. The first thing is when something's wrong, you want to react. Someone who's going to call an incident. You want to wake people up. This is, I guess, the most intense moment of action. I'm not covering it right here because Daljit is here later today to give you a full presentation. But there's a bunch of cool announcements in the incident management, especially on the on-call side of Datadog. What I want to cover today is one particular feature that we've been releasing, which is feature flags and experiments. Whenever you're making some changes, you want to be responsible about it. You want to make sure you're keeping track of how it's performing. Maybe it's a canary deployment. You want to make sure you keep track of the 10% that is on the new version, or it's a feature flag that you activated for a certain number of orgs. So typically you make changes somewhere, you look at data on the other side, telemetry on the other side. This could be a bit overwhelming with data all over the place. With the feature flag and experiment product, we bring all this data in one place. So it's very easy to keep track of all the experiments and see how they're performing against different metrics that you're tracking. No need to look in 20 different places to remember when you made the change, what was impacted, was the version number, and so on and so forth. This is really important to get good data, to make database decisions. I think you're all now familiar with this idea that in the era of AI, data is your differentiated advantage. This is how you're gonna, if you have healthy and good hygiene in the data, this is how you're gonna make a difference. This means having good data pipelines, making sure they're healthy all the time. They're here again. We're announcing cool things, but Jonathan is here and has you covered, so I'll leave it to him. What I want to present today is what it means for Datadog. When we're saying that we use data to make a differentiated advantage, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about those numbers. We're talking about trillions of metrics. We're talking about trillions of logs, billions of containers. So those numbers are per day, just so you know. It's really big numbers that we're talking about. It's not just like raw telemetry that we have to ingest. We have this volume that is also connected. This metadata, there are tags, they work together. We also have information, RUM information. We're using RUM internally. We have RUM information on how people connect the dots, like the dashboards that connect the different surfaces area. All of those are used to bring to you the best experience that's using AI into Datadog. When we think about AI, we have those two pillars. On one side, we're trying to bring to you the best experience that happens to be built on AI. At some point, you should not really care that it's built on an agent or not. But today, if you want to build like the most innovative product, you get a benefit from the recent improvements in AI. So we're bundling AI and agentic AI into Datadog. But while we do so, we build tools. Those tools, the same tools that we use to build the best AI solutions, we make available to you. So I'm going to cover both. Let's first look at the agentic AI piece. A couple of years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, AI kind of meant chatbots. There was this like ChatGPT came out, and people were chatting, and you can see that it gets you to a solution faster. And more now, I think 2025 was coined the name of agent, the year of agents, whatever that means. So what does it mean? Like, what was this like trend? I think it comes down to what value is it creating. Like a couple of years ago, chatting was about increasing productivity. Someone wants to take action. They're gonna make. They need to find some piece of information. A chatbot would get that information faster. So you're like want to ask something, you ask something, it looks for the documentation, reads the docs, hundreds of pages, gets you the answer, you save 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So it's really increased productivity. It was really where we were a couple of years ago. Now we are at a time where it has a more direct impact on downtime because the AI agents are autonomous in doing things on the side. So maybe they're doing all of the exploration for you without you having to just go in a chatbot and ask for something. It's kind of where we are. Where we're going is a world where they're going to actually make autonomous decisions that you trust. We're not there yet. I'm sure all of you have some ideas on whether to trust or not an agent to make something. I think we're all conscious of this. We're not there yet, but I think we also think we're going to be there a couple of years down the road. So we're on that path, and I want to share some of the examples of the agents we've built right where we are today. I'm introducing to you here 3 Bits AI agents, so 3 agents that we're building into the product. The first one is the Bits AI SRE agent. It's really your 24/7 on-call AI engineer. Sits right next to you and works alongside you and is helping you. When I say this, it feels like, oh, okay, one human, one agent. It's not exactly how it is. Actually, sometimes it's not sleeping, but it's just like waiting for things to happen. But as soon as a monitor triggers, then it starts crunching. And when it starts crunching, it's not like at a human scale. It can do 50 things at a time, of course, because you can spawn like 50 of them. So now the monitor just triggered. It's going to run through a series of hypotheses and generate a new hypothesis and explore every single one of them and try to validate or invalidate every single one of them. And if one explains the reason of this particular incident, it's going to drill down and generate new hypotheses and keep crunching and keeps crunching. It's using past events, the memory, the runbooks, the dashboards that you've created. Every information you've put on the monitor page is going to be used to be more efficient. So this is really someone who's like making sure all of the information that could be useful is ready for, by the time you get to the keyboard, maybe you have all of that and it's presenting that information in a completely natural way because it's summarizing incident for you and say, hey, this is what I found, this has been excluded and so on. So you can chat with it, there's a chat, you can see there's a chat next to it, but also working in parallel and tell you what it does. Like the branches that it's going through are explicit in the UI, you can see what it explored and so on. Also, that saves you a lot of time and value during the incident. Also, it saves you a lot of time and value after the incident. When the incident's over, it's going to take care of notifying the teams, it's going to take care of writing the postmortem, the summary, follow-up tasks, and all of that. So it's really helping you reduce MTTR and also reduce the load of taking care of incidents. The next, the little brother of the AI SRE agent is the Bits AI agent, which is a dev agent that's here to propose fixes. Often when you find a problem, you also want to get the fix. It's not a coding agent, and it's not going to live in VS Code and work with you in VS Code like other coding agent. The point here is for every problem that we see in Datadog, maybe it's a new error, maybe it's a new profiling problem, maybe it's some optimization that we figured out, we want to propose the fix directly there. So we propose the PR there, and it's just one click away from solving issues. So Datadog is good at observing and finding some issues and some performance or issues that you have in your systems. With the AI dev agent, we can also bring the solution right next to it. And finally, I'm moving to security, and actually it's the same spirit, but it's applied to a different problem. Here, security, you have to deal with a ton of false positives. So you have a lot of very weak and small signals that might be a sign of a deeper problem, or maybe not, but you can't spend your day exploring all of them. So usually you focus on the high value and high signal ones. But sometimes it's too late. When you look at high signal, it's too late. Here we have an agent that's able to capture and analyze all of those and score them and tell you the ones that you should spend your attention on. So now let's move on to how we bring those products into build this expertise and bring it into products that you can use. We think of AI stack as a 3 levels. So first the GPU level, the model level, and the application level. We help you along those 3 levels of the stack. We've released GPU monitoring that gives you full observability on how your GPUs are used. So you'll see bottlenecks, anything that goes to waste. You know how costly your GPU can be, so you want to make sure those pieces of hardware are used efficiently. Now that gives you this visibility directly into Datadog. One level up, you have experiments that will let you make sure that you can know the performance of your models when you're training and trying to solve problems. You can think of performance like going on LM Arena and checking the leaderboard, but performance is really specific to your application, specific to your evaluation set, it's specific to your criteria, maybe it's correctness, but it's time to first token, maybe it is the cost, all of those, or hallucination rate, all of those needs to be evaluated for every new model that come out. And new models come out every day. And finally, the LLM observability piece is when we bring everything back and all the experience of Datadog to LLM applications. So now you can see how it's been used in the real world. You see the traces of people where they're asking what the agent is doing, the tools it's calling, the different branches it's exploring when it's looking at a runbook and different recipes. It's performing latency and cost, and you can slice and dice it any way you want. Just like you would do in traces and APM, the same experience is ported to agents. So I know that's a lot. I've covered a lot of products in just a tiny fraction of what we release. If you have just one takeaway, don't feel overwhelmed. We're here today and in the next few days to help you in this journey with observability and in this journey with AI. And thank you very much.